In this video, I'm going to show you guys how to bring in multiple fields from multiple related tables into one collection using Power Apps, Dataverse, Canvas Apps, and Dataverse. So let me lay out the scenario so you guys get the context. Let's say you wanted to bring in a collection that has information from your pet appointments table, but also information from your pet and a customer table, and also some other tables that are included all the way in here. You'll notice that these are all, these are related tables from a one-to-many relationship. So what you basically want to do is create maybe like a view and join those tables and get the related fields. So this is the equivalent of doing a SQL view, but we're gonna do it using Dataverse and also collections in Canvas apps. So the first thing that you need to do in order to achieve the flat view basically is you need to leverage a third-party tool called XRM Toolbox. And within the XRM Toolbox, what you can do is you can leverage a tool called Fetch XML. I'm not going to explain to you guys how to get the XRM Toolbox and how to do it. Fetch XML. I'm assuming you guys know this information. If you don't, leave in the comments below and I will make a video showing you guys how to install and how to use Fetch XML. So basically, once you include it in here, you can go ahead and select your entity, which in my case is this is the lowest entity or table. And you can start adding attributes that you want to include in your flat table. So I want to include my maybe appointment ID, my appointment date, and that's about it, right? Maybe the temperature and the weight. Okay. Now you want to start bringing in related fields from our other tables. So we want to right click in here, click where it says add, and then linked entity. Then from the relationships, we can also bring in data from our pet entity, right? So I'm going to go ahead and click pet in here, and then I'm going to give this an alias name. I'm going to call this my pet info, right? From this linked entity, which is basically the equivalent of a left join, I also want to bring in attributes or fields, right? So from here, I want to grab maybe the pet date of birth, the pet name, and that's about it, right? From here, we also want to bring in information from a separate table. Let's say we want to bring in information from our pet type. So I can come in here and then select the pet type. I'm going to call this, my alias, the pet type info. And from here, I'm basically going to select attributes, right? So all I care from here is my pet type name, okay? And last but not least, let's say I want to bring information related to my customer. So this is another linked entity to pet. So I'm going to go ahead, click where it says pet, and then linked entity. And I'm going to choose in here my many to one. So many pets to one customer. And I will choose this relationship, and I will call this my, my customer info. And from within this table, I want to also add attributes. So from here, I want the account name. Maybe I want the address, right? And the city. Maybe I want to bring in the customer's email and the customer's phone number, right? Okay. The good thing about this tool is that I can go ahead and execute this, right? And then get a preview of all the data that I will be getting from my related tables, right? So you can see how it's already showing me all the different information from my 3 or 4 related tables, kind of like a SQL view. The next thing is, how do I take this and how do I leverage a collection within a Canvas app in order to load this information? So once I have this, I can go ahead and click where it says view and then fetch XML. So this will give me the XML code that I need to leverage in order to bring in this into my Canvas app. One of the gotchas, a few things that you must know about Fetch XML is they can only bring in up to 5,000 records. So I can go ahead and change this in here to be the top 5,000. You won't be able to bring in more than 5,000 records without doing some pagination things to your XML, which we're not going to cover in this video. Okay, but I think 5,000 records is good enough for a collection, right? Okay, so once you have your Fetch XML data, all you really need to do is you need to go back and build a Power Automate flow, right? So from within my solution, I already created one that I'm gonna show you guys. It's a pretty basic flow. And I'm gonna go in here and I'm gonna look for this one, get related table view. I'm gonna go ahead and click edit, and I'll show you guys how you can create a Power Automate flow in order to bring in the data into your Canvas app. So the trigger of the flow is basically, it triggers from a button that you click in your Canvas app. The next step is I'm invoking the Dataverse HTTP request, and I'm doing a GET request. And I'm basically passing the XML information that I grabbed from the XRM toolbox. In order to do this, you basically, let me open up this in a separate screen, and I'll show you guys. Once inside your solution, find the table that you want to leverage on your GET request using the HTTP request. So I'm going to go ahead and click on it. And if I go up to in here where it says tools, then go ahead and tools and then API link to table data. Basically, what I can do is now I can grab the first piece, up to the question mark, and I can use this in order to build my the first section of my code. So basically this goes like this. Notepad, I'm gonna put it in Notepad so you guys can see, right? You guys can switch this to be your environment. And after that, all you gotta do is do a question mark and then type it in here exactly as it is. It is case sensitive, so I'm gonna do Fetch XML, right? And in here, I will grab my Fetch XML code, and I will paste it in here, right? And that is basically the get Fetch XML query that you want to run against your Dataverse environment. Okay, so it's basically a get request. By the way, I'm using this HTTP connector because it's already authenticated with Azure, so I don't need to HTTP with Azure AD. That's the one you want to use. Otherwise, because if you use this one, you don't have to create an app registration with Azure AD or none of that stuff. So make sure you use that one. Basically, once you run this HTTP GET request, you will get a JSON payload with the data that you're seeing in your Fetch XML tool. Basically, after that, what I did is I basically just I threw this in a compose, just so I can see what the data looks like. And all I'm doing is I'm responding back to my Power Apps, and then I'm passing a schema. I did this in order to get a copy of the schema, and then I click where it says generate from sample, and that will give me a schema of my JSON payload. So once you have this, all you have to do is then go back to your Canvas app, insert a button, basically do the following code: clear collect, and then load it into a collection, and then run the flow. This will basically go ahead and run the flow, so I'm going to run it one time. I ran it in here. And now that you run this code, let me go back in here and then look at a prior run so you guys see what this looks like. So I'm going to go into get related table view. This one ran 16 seconds ago. And basically, like I said, you invoke the HTTP request, and you look at what you get in here is a copy of the data, right? So it's a JSON output. So you can evaluate it using any JSON tool. I like to use this one, Best JSON Viewer. So I can come in here and say that it's returning an array of 27 records. So if I go back in here, and if I look at the result view, you'll notice that I'm also, let me run this one more time. You'll notice that I'm also getting, well, in this case, I'm getting 35 records. Maybe this is a separate database, but you should be able to look back and say, look at the data and look at the records that you're getting back. And if you look now inside your Power Apps, you should be able to have that view, that flat view with all related tables in one collection, right? In my case, the collection related table view. So if I go in here and I look at this, you'll notice that I have all of that data included in here. Okay, so that's how you can leverage Fetch XML in order to do, kind of mimic a SQL view using Dataverse. If you enjoyed this video, please do like and subscribe. Until next time, bye-bye.